Welcome to a Brooklyn Baptist Health exclusive interview. My name is Brian Pavlik. Thank you again for allowing us to come into your homes for this wonderful century of caring. 100 years of Princeton Baptist Medical Center, and I have a treat for you. We always are asked who are some of our favorite physicians on campus over the history of Princeton Baptist Medical Center, and it's always one of the top requests, Dr. Sandra Ford, and she's with me today. Dr. Ford, how are you today?
Wonderful.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you so much.
Oh, absolutely. It is so good to see you, and you're she's always smiling, folks. You ever see her when you're in the office or around campus? Dr. Ford's always smiling. She's so good with her patients, and of course, such a big part of our history at Princeton. And she's going to just share a few moments in her busy schedule with us about some of her recollections from the time that she's had at Princeton. And Dr. Ford, I know people need to know exactly who you are. So just the easiest question I'm going to ask you today, just tell us a little bit about who you are, your title, how long you've been at Princeton, if you don't mind.
Sure. I'm Sandra Matthews. Once I got into practice, I got admitting privileges, and I actually was one of the attendings on the teaching service for a while, and that was just so gratifying. And I've been on the staff since that time, and Princeton has really, the mark of the people. They've had an indelible impact on my life. And I would, the most rewarding thing has been my association with Baptist Princeton is the connection with a ministry, a mission to the Black Belt, which Princeton was so strategic in helping me with, getting a mobile clinic to actually embark on a journey that's just been so fulfilling. Alabama's most underserved areas, underinsured areas, with a mobile clinic to do medicine and ministry together. And Princeton was just absolutely so receptive to helping me with this mobile clinic that they had use of or planning to use for another ministry, but they allowed me to use it for almost 20 years. And so I just, it has been just an absolute blessing. They changed the whole trajectory of fulfillment and ministry. I myself am ordained in ministry, and it gave me a chance to really explore the purpose that God has for my life in terms of a ministry of wholeness, spirit, body, and soul. So there's a very special place in my heart for the Princeton family, and I just want to congratulate the staff and everybody that I've worked with, the 100-year anniversary, and it's been a blessing.
I appreciate you sharing a little bit about you. Again, Dr. Sandra Ford, she's just been telling us a little bit about herself. She don't like talking about herself a lot, though. She likes talking about Princeton. She likes talking about the people around her and all that. And now, Dr. Ford, just some fun questions about Princeton, if you don't mind. You mentioned a little bit about it in your intro there, but I wanted you to go a little bit more because you were telling me a little bit about it. Tell me a little bit about your initial kind of start at Princeton, what initially attracted you to Princeton. Just kind of flush that out a little bit more for us so we can say, how did you first get on board with us?
Yes, like I was saying, the thing is I had such a positive relationships that I had developed as a resident. Just inspired me to at least to want to become a part of this particular staff. Right. So that's why I wanted to come back to Princeton. It had such a positive effect on the surrounding community and my churches in this area. And so it was the dynamics and their participation in the changing the value, healthcare value in this community, and their presence.
One thing I love, you mentioned the surrounding communities. I'm going to skip to this question because I do know the impact you do have, not just at the hospital, but in your communities. You mentioned that you're an ordained minister and all, and that's such a higher calling as, I mean, you think about two of the most incredible, rewarding just professions you can have, ordained minister and physician. You're able to balance it all. Talk a little bit about how Princeton affects those surrounding communities. We kind of get used to it being Baptist employees, Princeton employees, but there's rarely a hospital that is so interwoven in the fabric of a community like Princeton, being on that west side of Birmingham and all. Just explain a little bit about the relationship, either for you personally or professionally or both, just what Princeton has done as far as becoming an integral part of that community, and likewise how that community is a part of Princeton, if you don't mind.
That is one of the most unique things about Princeton. They are, like you said, very interwoven into the very fabric of this community. Even the outreach in the community, the health fairs, involvement in all the schools, the elementary schools, the middle schools, the city at large. I have participated in a lot of community outreach programs, and I tell you, Princeton has been a part of just about everything that I have done or participated in, and over the last 20 years, there's been a lot. Their presence is just about just everywhere in terms of this. Not only have they affected the immediate community, but the city at large, and even from my perspective, they have affected the state because of what in the Black Belt and the underserved, underprivileged, and underinsured areas of Alabama. And so they've just had just a marked impact on the level of healthcare and involvement in ministry and educational pursuits. I mean, it's just their presence has just been outstanding.
You can tell she's passionate about what she does, folks. And that's why she's one of the best. Dr. Sandra Ford, just a few minutes with us here, talking about Princeton 100 and just her personal experiences. You know, Dr. Ford, you've seen it all now. In the past 2 years, changes in what we've gone through with our national pandemic, and then even going back years with different things and different types of services, different machinery, different types of procedures. I mean, we keep going into the history of medicine here, but there are some things that have to remain constant to get to 100 years of caring. Is there one thing that you've seen either in your career or that you've seen in the fabric of what makes up Princeton that has remained constant, like a constant vision or a constant value at Princeton, that you said, Brian, regardless of the changes around me, Princeton, you can always rely on because they delivered this? What is this that you see every single day that you're in those offices and on that campus?
I think the health care and the holistic approach, that to me, in terms of the relationships, in terms of the spiritual aspects, and definitely the physical body, I would think the wholeness aspect is just the thing that sticks out and is so unique about Princeton.
Isn't it though? Mind, body, soul. And we've heard this before. I've heard it from some of our chaplains, Dr. Walker included. You know, it is a mission field for us. It really is. We don't just heal physically. It's the emotional, it's the mental, and of course, as we really just adhere to, it's the spiritual, like you said, the wholeness, healing. And what an awesome just ministry opportunity we have, especially with you. And, you know, I know you've been known to pray for a couple people every once in a while.
Absolutely.
So one final question for you. You know, we've celebrated 100 years. Now, we will not make it to the bicentennial celebration. You know, we're not going to be able to make it. It's okay, folks. We're going to be in a better place, me and Dr. Ford, at that time. But if this video was able to hit people for that bicentennial celebration, and they said, well, let's see what kind of advice one of our physicians from 2022 gave us back then. What is one piece of advice you would share with those future Princeton employees who will serve our communities over the next 100 years?
Unique quality of wholeness, wellness, and relationships, and that kind of thing. And I think that's just so invaluable, and it's so unique. And I think if that were to continue, then we'd be here as long as it was God's will for us to stay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you have been a blessing, not just to me today, not just to our employees in your tenure there, to our staff, to your patients, to the community. This is one of the best, folks. You wonder why Princeton has made it, it's tough for any company to make it 100 years. And one of the reasons for success is important employees. And she is a wonderful employee. She's one of our favorite physicians. And hopefully you got a little snippet of that today. So Dr. Ford, you are a busy lady. I appreciate just any small time that you've given to me, to everybody just in this celebration. You've truly made it more special. I hope to see you at the 100th celebration in a few nights. As we just really celebrate a wonderful place for physical healing, for mental, for emotional, but as Dr. Ford has said, for whole spiritual healing as well. So Dr. Ford, my thank you to you. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to Princeton Baptist. For everybody who is watching this, thank you so much for being our patient. Come join us at our community care for the next 100 years. But until then, this is Brian Palick saying thank you very much, and we'll see you at Princeton soon.